Hi everyone, my name is Courtney and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my December wrap-up. December is always an interesting month for readers because we have so much to wrap up along with our regular end of the month content, so I have a lot coming. I don't know when it's going to come out, but it's coming. This is the first video of the year ending wrap-up and it's already the 6th, so that's how far behind I am. So hold off on waiting for my 2024 stuff because today we are just going to be finishing up with what I read in 2023, the final month of the year. And I read a pretty good chunk of books. As always, we're gonna start off with the manga. I was reading Kami-sama Kiss and I read 4 volumes this month, volumes 10, 11, 12, and 13. I had high, lofty aspirations of trying to finish this series, or at least get another decent chunk out of the way. Still did pretty good, but not quite as much as I was hoping to. This is a young adult paranormal manga series following our main character, Nanami, who is basically forced out of her home, and she stumbles along this god who's like, hey, you should come to my temple and step in for me and be the god of this small temple for me. And from there, it's Nanami getting into hijinks with all of these different yokai and different characters. And this was a favorite series of mine in late high school, early college, and I don't know what it is, but I don't hate it. I think it's good, but I was expecting to go into this series with like big nostalgia goggles and just like have a really good time, and a lot of the time it feels like I'm pulling teeth trying to read this series. Again, I don't think it's bad, it's fun, it's camp, it has really great characters, and the more into the series we get, the darker it gets, but it just doesn't stick out in my mind as rereadable for me personally like Yona of the Dawn does, maybe even Gakuen Alice, and Gakuen Alice I have to have some really big nostalgia goggles to enjoy, but like Skippy, it's a much older series that I still love to reread, whereas this, I like it, but I don't love it the way I was kind of expecting to. So I'm really struggling through it and just trying to decide if I want to finish rereading the series or if I want to just stop. But that's how I'm feeling so far in this series. I was really excited because I got to the Tengu arc, which I was expecting to really enjoy. It didn't blow me away like I was expecting it to. So yeah, Kami-sama Kiss, like a 3.5, 3.75 star series for me. Just doesn't quite hold up as a favorite as some other series do. But now we can get into the books. So the first couple books I read this month were Christmassy reads. I have You're a Mean One, Matthew Prince by Timothy Javinsky, and then I have In the Event of Love by Courtney Kay. And these were 2 books that I was reading for a reading vlog, a Christmassy reading vlog that, you know, you have not seen because it has not come out. I'm still working on it. I'm still planning on hopefully finishing and releasing that vlog, but I am halfway through the 3rd and final book, so we'll see where we get to with that. So basically, You're a Mean One, Matthew Prince is a queer male Christmas story in the adult romance genre. I've been really feeling into my adult romance era this year, especially if it's queer, and so I had to pick up something Christmassy, again, hence why I started that project. But this was the first one I picked up, and it's just kind of middle of the road. It's very like typical holiday romance, kind of like a Hallmark movie kind of a thing. That's not a problem for me, but I didn't love this. Basically, the premise is that our main character is the son of very wealthy and important figures. I think his mom is like a really big book writer, and so he's like basically a big nepo baby. And so the premise is that he makes some financial decisions that his parents do not especially care for. He is sent away to his grandparents' house for Christmas, possibly also Thanksgiving, and there he meets Hector, who is staying with his grandparents. He goes to the local college, and basically together they don't get along, but they have to share a room, and they start to plan a Christmas event together. There was stuff in here that was just kind of cringe, didn't really love. Also, in 2023, it is a little bit difficult to root for a nepo baby. Like, I understand the premise, they're setting up this character to have a really good character arc and some like character realizations. He's very messy, it falls into a lot of things that I like, but also having a hard time having sympathy for him, you know? This was fun. I'm looking forward to reading other stuff by this author, but it was just kind of middle of the road, 2.75, 3 stars, fine, did what it was supposed to, could have done other stuff better. But I have more opinions in that reading vlog to come out if you want to see more of that. And then In the Event of Love is in the same sphere. It's adult romance, but this one is sapphic, but very similar vibe to the first one. We have our main character who is going back to her small hometown, having a second chance romance with her best friend. There is a little bit of enemies to lovers type vibe, and there's also event planning in here. This book is really interesting because it starts off like very fun, very camp, and then it slowly gets really dramatic, both in like high melodrama and also like there are some high stakes here. There's a lot of emotional baggage and things like alcoholism and just like different stuff like that that the characters are dealing with, like familial stuff. And so I don't think the tone was super set up well in this story. There were some other issues, and because of that I couldn't fully fall in love with these characters and their story. Maybe it would be better as a movie, but it was kind of along the same sphere as Matthew Prince. I liked it. Didn't love it. I gave it like a 2.75, 2.5 stars. It did what it was supposed to, but it was just really middle of the road. It gave me like all the messiness that I kind of wanted, but just the execution just didn't do it for me personally. And both of these books, honestly, not enough Christmassy vibes. I was kind of looking for more of like those corny like Christmassy moments, and like they were there, but like they weren't really dwelled in, and I kind of wanted more of that. So overall, just so-so in the Christmas book category. But we did a lot better in the other novels that I read. The first one being The Office of Historical Corrections by Danielle Evans. This is a short story collection. Well, mostly short stories. It's like 4 short stories and then 1 novella, which is the title novella. And I like this. I've read Danielle Evans' other short story collections, so I wanted to pick up this one. I just really like her work. She's just really precise, really elegant, like simplistic. She does a really good job in her stories, and I liked this just as much, if not more, than the first collection that I read by her. And this is like a full 5 stars for me. I really enjoyed this. If you are looking for literary fiction in contemporary settings with just really great prose and just really great execution, this is definitely for you. Definitely one of the actual best things that I read this year, honestly. Like, this is going to end up in one of my top reads of the year. And then the final book of 2023 and of December is going to be In the Riverlands by Nhi Vo. This is a part of an adult fantasy series of novellas, the first one being The Empress of Salt and Fortune, and the second one being When the Tiger Comes Down the Mountain. This is the third one. I was kind of waiting for it to come into paperback, but it never did, which is kind of annoying because this doesn't match, obviously, the 2 paperbacks, and you can't get the paperbacks in hardcover because they were never made in hardcover. But yeah, this series was my favorite thing that I read last year, so I was really looking forward to this one. Basically, it is about our cleric, and they are writing down these stories that they encounter. The first 2 novellas are really focused in on one specific story, and the cleric is kind of almost like a side character, just kind of narrating everything. And then this third book is a little bit more focused in on the cleric and them going through this like journey from one place to another, and along the way encountering different people who are recounting these different stories of this area. And I honestly really liked this change. I thought it just worked really well, the way that like the stories wove into each other. Just like it kind of felt like a big ode to the art of storytelling, and I really like this series. It's not quite my favorite in the series. The first book just impressed me so much with the way that they used style and form, and then the second book was just really good. But I'm still looking forward to the 4th book in this series, and then the 5th one, which is going to be coming out this next year as well. Yeah, I love the writing in here. I love the stories. I love the world that we're creating here. And if you're looking for another good novella series, this is definitely one to pick up. But yes, these are all the books that I read in December and everything that I read for 2023, and look forward to what I will be reading in the new year, as well as my stats. And I'm really proud what I was able to finish at the end of the year despite it being so hectic. So let me know in the comments what you read this month. As always, the algorithm is not a friend to small creators, so any comments, likes, subscribes, always appreciated. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later, and happy reading.